Of course, I knew since I was 5 or 6 years old that I was going to be a soldier. In Israel, we all have to join the army at 18, boys and girls, unless we're ultra-Orthodox. But I didn't know I'd be sent straight to the occupied territories.
When you go out there, as an Israeli soldier, the first thing that dominates is a feeling of fear. The second is one of dehumanization. And the third is boredom.
8 hours on, 8 hours off. You start to get bored. So you begin to make things a game. You start to aim your rifle at kids. And you see them through the scope of your rifle and you take a picture. Then you aim at your friends. And you take a picture. The rifle is no longer a killing machine. The rifle becomes a part of your game, the way to pass time.
Like confiscating car keys.
Exactly, another game. Stop a Palestinian car and say to the guy, go home on foot, come back in a couple of days.
Many times they don't even get their keys back. I was shocked the first time I saw this, but then it's like the first time you take a Palestinian detainee. It's very shocking and terrifying. But after 10 or 12 times it becomes routine and you talk over at him as though he's a piece of furniture. Someone next to you is blindfolded and handcuffed, and you don't even notice he's there.
The first house arrest, the first shooting, the first house demolition is problematic. But then it becomes normal to you.
The first house you go into, you never sit on the couches.
Believe it or not, the first houses we entered, before we left, we washed the floors.
Eventually, the units would get more and more comfortable with the houses, and over a period of time, the soldiers would become bored, and they would start to break things.
People would wipe their arses with towels from the bathroom, make use of personal computers in the house.
Once, when we were doing an operation in the city of Ramallah, a World Cup match was on. We looked around, we found a house, entered it, kicked the family out, watched the game, and when it was over, we left and went back to our mission.
Last year in 2007, my cousin's family home had a visit from the Israeli military. They were wanting to arrest one of the neighbours, but made their presence felt by vandalising all 4 apartments in the building. Most of the windows, doors and furniture were broken, thrown about. Every room was trashed and damaged by bomb blasts, bullets and the searching process. Photos were thrown around everywhere. Children's musical instruments, broken in half, clothes in cupboards, bullet-ridden. The central heaters in each room were deliberately shot, destroying the heating system and causing water to flood the apartments. The toilets were blocked with bathroom products. Photos and documents were dumped into basins filled with water. 2 grenades were let off inside the house, damaging the walls. My cousin Hassan was sent at gunpoint into the arrested man's apartment with a robotic bomb searcher as a human shield. They want him to be careful not to damage the robot, as it is very expensive. The thing is, this was all done after they had arrested the man they wanted. As they destroyed the apartments, they kept all the families out in the courtyard from 1 a.m. till 6 a.m. It was midwinter, and it was freezing cold. The men were all stripped down to their underwear.
We had a commander with us who was a bit of a fanatic. We get hold of some Palestinian kid, he was 10 maybe. He knew the kid we were after who'd been throwing stones. Let's say we beat him up a little, to put it mildly, until he told us. When we found the other kid, he was about 15, he was really scared. We gave the boy over to this commander and he really beat the shit out of him. He showed him all kinds of holes in the ground along the way, asking him,
"Is it here you want to die? Or, here?"
Anyway, The kid started crying, and then he kicks him some more. And then Avi, who always had a hard time with such things, went in, caught the squad commander and said,
Don't touch him anymore, that's enough.
You've become a lefty or what?
No, I just don't want to see such things.
And the parents saw it. The commander ordered the mother,
Don't get any closer.
he put his weapon literally inside the kid's mouth.
Anyone gets close, I'll kill him.
So the father got hold of the mother and said, calm down, let them be so they'll leave him alone. The thing about these stories is that they're a matter of daily routine over a 6-month period of active assignment, which was total, your whole life. No day and night, it's constant.
It was the religious settlers that affected me most emotionally, particularly in Hebron, where many of us served.
In Hebron, extreme religious settlers have moved right into the old city, where they routinely harass the indigenous Palestinian population by
physical assaults, including beatings with clubs,
breaking into homes,
destroying shops and doors,
attempting to run people over,
hurling rocks and stones at children and their international escorts on their way to and from school.
As a result, the 30,000 Palestinians who used to live there have dwindled to 3,000, and 3/4 of the shops and businesses have been forced to close down.
1,500 soldiers are permanently deployed there to protect the 400 or so Jewish settlers, and this has led to severe restrictions on the Palestinian population, including not being allowed to walk or drive on some of the roads in the heart of their city.
Not long after I was posted to Hebron, I was on guard at our post, when suddenly from one of the small streets, a settler girl shows up and shouts at me very urgently.
Soldier, soldier, come quickly! There's an Arab here who's attacking a girl!
I got very alarmed and advanced with my weapon cocked. The scene that unfolds is of an Arab with his 2 children. He's trying to protect them from another settler girl who's throwing stones at them. I blew my fuse and started screaming at her, and I'm torn between the girl who's throwing stones and screaming that he's an Arab and he should be killed, and that they shouldn't be here, and the father, poor guy, who sort of says,
We're used to it. We've been here a long time now. It's all right.
I think my definition of a Jew has changed a little since Hebron. If Jews are capable of writing on Arabs' doors, have you killed an Arab today? Or kill all Arabs? And drawing a Star of David, which to me is like a swastika, when they draw it like that, then somehow the term Jew has changed.